Welcome to Faz Radio. Let's get started. So today we have JonT, Gemini, on board for an interview. We have a lot of questions, so I'm just going to let's just jump right into it, and I'm going to let Titan start things out. Are you there, Titan?
I am. Hang
All right.
on, this is echoing. All right, so there we go. John, welcome. It's been a while since I've seen you in chat on a regular basis. Lately, you've shown up quite a bit, though. What's with all the excitement? What brought you back to everybody?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on the radio show. And I don't know. I think I've always been around. I think maybe a little bit more lately, just because of the upcoming, excitement with all the games and what's going on with Gala music. It's kind of revived it a little bit for me.
That's awesome. So, for those who may not know Gemini, he is one of the OGs with Gala. Probably, we hear that you're probably one of the first people to ever get involved in it. You've built yourself quite a nice empire. You have a guild as well, and you're building that for how many games?
We're gonna try to do all the games as long as there's people who are, interested in it. If there's interest, we'll get involved.
Now, I know that you and Faz had a fun little back and forth because Faz got himself a guild set up and a little bit of banter back and forth. It was all in good fun. What do you think? What do you think puts your guild in a strong position going into as they start opening up these games?
I think there's a lot of other guilds out there that have a lot more people, but I think what sets our guild apart, maybe, and I'm not involved with like a lot of other guilds, is like we just have a ton of assets. And that was like one of the reasons why, not right away, when I first started acquiring assets, it was really that, these things are going to have value in the future, these things are going to produce income. But then as like, a lot of the Miranda stuff specifically sold out, and like a lot of the people just can't get their hands on the stuff, I thought to myself, you know what, like this is way too much to manage on my own. Like, why don't I put together a guild and create a place where not only people who have assets can come, but people who have nothing can come? Because I'll tell you a little bit about myself real quick. I didn't come from money. I didn't have anything. I never struggled really hard, but there was a point in my life where, working every day, and I just when I first got into crypto, somebody gave me like $300 to get involved with this opportunity, and I turned that $300 basically into what I have now. And I really want to give somebody else that opportunity. Somebody that just steps in the door, has nothing, shows ambition. I mean, I will put them right in management in a town of Prince. It don't matter to me. I'd be more than happy to share in the wealth, and so that's kind of my goal with everything.
That's awesome because that is one of the biggest concerns that we hear on a regular basis, both in our Discord and when I have a look over at the Gala Games Discord. Is there's a lot of people that just can't seem to get their foot in the door because of some of those prices. You were lucky enough to build quite a war chest with when you first started out. What would you recommend? I mean, besides the guild aspect of it, what would you recommend that people do to start building up their own war chest, whether it's with play to earn or with NFTs? How would you recommend they go about it?
It's tough right now because of the barrier to entry with the price of these NFTs. Without a guild, without rental, there's really nothing that anybody can do. My biggest suggestion would be to just start acquiring as much Gala and as much town as possible. I mean, that's what I'm telling the guys in my guild who are just starting out with Town Star. Like they want to buy all these little drops that come. I'm like, listen, don't. I'm like, just build your stack. Like you guys, you don't understand the amount of NFTs that our guild combined has that we can basically give you guys to use to share in the profits. You know what I mean? And then from there it can compound. Because with you could get all the NFTs in the world, but if you don't have Gala power or this new town power they're thinking about, then you can't do anything. So that's the real important part is building up your stack of Gala in town.
Okay. So one follow-up that I had on that, with you saying to gather as much town as you can, there's a lot of FUD going around right now because of the I hate saying it, but for lack of a better way to describe it, the mess that the economy of Townstar is in. Now, we know that this is all brand new. This is uncharted territory. So they're kind of figuring out as they go along. You're still kind of pushing the fact that, hey, even though it's taken a beating, we should still be collecting town.
Well, you know, I haven't really said it much since they basically announced that yesterday is when they really came out of the woodwork with that they were going to change the whole way that worked. I mean, I don't know. I mean, at this point, it really, the price of town doesn't matter when it concerns, you know, the amount of town you can earn. It's really just the amount of town. It has nothing to do with the value. It seems like that's a direction they're going. So you'll need Gala to will dictate the amount of NFTs you can place, and then town. This was a proposal. The amount of town will dictate how much town you can earn. So regardless of the price, it seems like you're still going to need Gala in town to play to earn within Townstar. You know, it's tough. I mean, if somebody asked me today, I'll probably just tell them, like, maybe just hold on, you know, stack some Gala for now. Let's see what they're gonna do. You can always exchange Gala for town if you need to open up your future town power. You know, it's tough. It's a tough situation. I think you know, I'm not an economist. You know, I'm sure there's a lot of variables I'm not considering, but it seems like from their end, their biggest thing was that, you know, that there's a small amount of people that are earning the majority of the town, you know, and they weren't really talking about the town price like dipping from its all-time high. Well, if that's the case, if the case is that it's, you know, heavy on one end, they really need to open up the bottom end. You know, I have a war chest of NFTs I'm ready to unleash across my guild, and then once everybody's all set, I'll open it up to the rest of the Gala Games community. You know, and I'm not the only one. There's so many NFTs that could be earning people town that are just collecting dust, and you know, that would create the balance of the share and wealth. It wouldn't necessarily do anything for the price, but it would definitely, you know, create a balance of distribution, if you will.
So what worries me about that suggestion of town power, though, is that, you know, like you were just saying, whales will still do well, and it's so I've worked to get a few different friends into NFTs. You know, let them borrow some NFTs while they basically use them, and I know the rental system is basically going to be, I would say, a more modernized version of that, but it still does worry me that okay, so their whole idea of town power is you're going to have what, Gala in your account to be able to place NFTs, and then town in your account to actually earn money from the NFTs. But then if it's, the whales are still going to do well there because they're going to be able to earn a lot of town. They probably have a lot of town right now, or be able to earn it very quickly, while everybody else are working hard just to place their NFTs and get them on the board and actually get earning with them. Is that something that that you think a guild can address, to say, okay, well, maybe we can stick some town in your wallet or something like that, or maybe there's, I mean, I guess you could. I wonder if that'd even be a good feature for
I mean, I feel like that suggestion, like, so obviously the first thing that comes to my mind is like, all right, taxes, because I do stuff legit, like stuff leaves my account, that's a capital gain right there. I feel like a lot of these things, like if they're thinking about doing the market board where I can basically assign NFTs from that are in my wallet on their end, in the game end, they can give the representation of what's in my wallet to whoever I assign it to. I mean, if that's the case with NFTs, like why couldn't that be done with Towncoin? Like why couldn't I assign a certain amount of Towncoin to any other account?
Well, that's straight up lending at that point. That's that. um,
Well, not
something.
necessarily, because the actual asset never leaves my account. It's only a representation of the
Oh,
asset.
that's
Now
interesting.
that's interesting. I didn't even think of that either. Holy cow.
You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
that's how the NFTs would go. Is
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that would solve a big problem with the guilds too, because, if you have a 60, 80 people, you couldn't deploy all your NFTs if those people didn't have the town power.
well, now that kind of makes the guilds a bit overpowered too, doesn't it? I mean, if so, I'm starting up a guild right now. I call it the Faz Syndicate, and basically it's just a bunch of people to get together. That honestly, I was looking for people to rent to. You know, I bought a few legendary things, and some other people have joined, and I want to be able to rent to some people. But I mean that's worth noting.
Yeah, I think it's that, and there's a lot of other factors involved. And like I said, I'm not an economist, but balancing the distribution is only one part of it. You got to remember, each day, new town is being born and put onto the market. So, a couple things need to happen. You need to incentivize players to hold it, and you need to create sinks where players can spend it.
It could be as
So,
simple as staking. It would be nice to. I know a long time ago, Benefactor had said something along the lines of that they would allow staking or do some integration along those lines. It'd be great if I could stake, 10,000 Gala and be able to help other people in the guild place and earn from NFTs.
yeah, I'm with you. I agree. I mean, something's got to change. They're not dummies. I mean, I'm sure that they have a plan. I think they just got a lot of stuff going on, but it's definitely something that needs the attention. I mean, it's the flagship game right now of Gala Games, and it's kind of broken.
So to try and turn this, we talk about it being broken and we talk about the issues. One big thing, Faz and I have argued about this for months, and they had gotten so much better with these drops and everything else that's going on. We got through the music nodes and everything fantastically. Uh, then here we are, and they bring out this music like out of nowhere. One of the big questions, and I still have the question, I still see it in the rooms. Are they moving too fast? Are they biting off more than they can chew?
People keep asking that.
I mean, it's a good question. I think, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, it might seem like it because they, um, there's like delays with spider tanks and the issues with Town Star, but maybe it could just be the fact that like these are hard problems to solve, and they're trying to do the right thing. Because think about it. I mean, if you make a change on like a out of like haste without really thinking it through, it's like you'll have to just change it again. So a lot of thought has to go into these things. Where they're you know moving towards, they're getting new people like into the music. Each new game has its own people, so it's not taking away from. But I don't know, is it that we're seeing the signs, or is it that these things are just very difficult problems to solve? I guess time will tell.
I have the opposite view. of this, I don't think that they're moving too fast at all. In fact, I see them moving light speed compared to some other companies. I've worked for. I hear a lot of banging around. Um, I worked for a number of startups, and while people move fast, I think they're doing pretty well as it is. It's almost like they're building the plane as they're flying it. They have Townstar out. It's in beta. It's earning. They're obviously using that as an analog to kind of figure out the economies of other games that they're going to be doing in the future. And I think every time they make, I think if anything, the worst the worst kind of problem that they're having right now is telling people things too early. Because as soon as they say something, people are like, "Where is it? Where is it? You told us last month. You told us last week. Where is it?" And I don't know. I kind of feel like the community needs to chill out sometimes, personally.
Yeah,
I don't know. No, go ahead, John.
No, just saying, it's like, man, you get the when walls going up, and people asking for leaks, but it's like, what do? I guess there's a fine line between like being awful quiet with your head down working. People have so much time and resources invested in the project. It's kind of like you want to know what they're doing, but at the same time, it can be tough.
Well, like your experience is a little different than the rest of us. In that, with your war chest, if something goes sideways, it's not the end of the world. But there's people out there that, they put all $1,200, everything they had in their name. Unfortunately, we tell them not to do it. They do it anyway, and something goes sideways, and they want to earn right away. And I think we've all tried to quash that the best we can and say patience is key. Patience is key. I understand it's hard. How would you? I mean, you're going to experience this, I'm sure, in your guild. So how do you address it with people when they hit that when button on when they're going to get looted?
I think people just need to understand where we're at. Like, this whole project really is still in beta. One game launched, half launched really, and I think we're still a good time away from this kind of, like, this hasn't even gone mainstream. Like, we're right at the beginning of it happening, and people need to just have realistic expectations, like, that there's risk involved with everything. Like, nothing's guaranteed. Like, if you like a game, get involved with it, learn about it, maybe buy one of the smaller NFTs in it if you can afford, but just know that, like, there's no guarantee of any type of return, or no expectation that the game that you like could even be the way it is. I mean, that's the risk we take early on, and the risk I took early on, like, back in 2019, was that there was nothing. There wasn't even a website. It was nothing. It was an idea, and kind of like seeing the trend move towards blockchain and gaming, and making a bet on that. So, I mean, I think now the risk is gone down quite a bit from when I got involved, for sure.
Well, that brings up a good point, because I see a number of people on the CryptoFaz Discord and on the Gala Discord that get downright butthurt that they didn't discover it early, or that they didn't hear about it early. And, then they go buy an NFT for $500, which for most people, honestly, is a lot of money. They buy an NFT for $500, and then they get like a couple town coin a day, 3 or 4 town coin. I think, aren't the basketball courts the cheapest one at a few $100s, and you're getting like 3 a day? And it's, and if you just got in, just a couple months early, and I'll admit that I got in right as they started doing the town earning. I just got lucky and I managed to sell a Miranda's NFT, which gave me a number of Ethereum, and I bought a whole bunch of Townstar NFTs. And I'm glad I did, because then they changed the pricing and then they did a lot of stuff, and I'm earning a lot more now than had I bought those NFTs today with the same money.
Right.
So that's kind of the challenge, and it really sucks that I guess perhaps people think that play to earn means that you're going to earn a lot more than they would like it to be, or that's something that I'm still trying to understand where their sweet spot is with play to earn.
Well, those expectations are high. I'm sure they want to be full-time gamers. That's probably been their dream for a very long time, and they think coming in, oh well, I can finally live out my dream and get paid to play games, but it's not enough to pay my rent. What the heck is going on here? So with that in mind, we've touched on this, but we've never gone into it. John, I'd love to hear your take on this. We see all these news cycles with Decentraland and Mana and Axie and everything else, and here Gala has this beta game out. Most of these other platforms, they got out slightly before that, and now they're hanging with Snoop with the Gala music, and you can't find a shred of media coverage about Gala. Why do you think that is?
It's a good question, and I've thought about that. I don't know. I think it's like one of these things. It's like it's the opposite of like what we're so used to in the crypto space. In the crypto space, you have like, if there's a project, you have all these like big master distributors or like big promoters that come on board to like market it, and this whole like media campaign that's just crazy, and it comes and goes and you never see it again. With the trends, it was like in the early days, like 2017, it was like ICOs, then it turned to like trading bots and just one thing after the other. And then I think what I really admire about Gala, it's like they're not trying to show off. They're not trying to do anything. Like, I really believe that like they're just going to keep expectations low and like over deliver. Like, why would they need to market? I think they realize that they have a pretty good user base, but I think they realize like if they did some crazy mass marketing right now, like people would come into the platform like in its current state, and it's not what people are going to expect, with the play to earn wall and Townstar. I think it's going to be very different when we have, several games out that, all the titles that we know about that are fully functional, and it's like, we're in a place where you can't tell the difference between our games and traditional games. Like, that's going to be the game changer right there. Like, that's where I think, things are going to be different. And I think that's where they're going to be ready to like do some serious marketing.
I think it's also worth mentioning that Gala Games, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't have very many outside investors. There's just the people that invested in the company to start up with, which I don't know how many that is. But all these other games, they probably continue to add outside investors, and those people probably have connections and can get you, into the Wall Street Journal and into other places to advertise your game. I have a feeling that Gala is bucking that, and that's where it shows.
Well, it's not so much hitting the Wall Street Journal, but they keep pounding their fist on the desk and saying, we need to get more players on the platform. This has to be something to where we're bringing in a ton of new people who want to dip their toes into this and get into the ecosystem. If that's what's necessary, why aren't they reaching out to the media outlets to try and touch those markets to get those new players in?
Well, they don't have anything ready yet.
Well, it's true. It's all about like the user experience. Like, think about how much the Gala Games Discord helps noobs that just come in. Like, just imagine if it flooded with like tens of thousands of new traditional gamers every day. Like, it's hard to understand. It's not comparable to what people are used to in the traditional game space right now. But like I said, I think there's going to come a point in the future once all these games are launched and they've made it less blockchainy, and we have games that are comparable to regular AAA titles out there, where now you can't even tell the difference between blockchain and traditional games. Like, that's the point in which, like, I think they can hit the ground running hard as far as marketing, because people will come in and just have the same experience they have on other platforms with their friends. Right now it's tough. You come in, you see all these games, you never heard about crypto, you got to figure out how to get crypto, you got to learn about exchanges. In the future, I believe it's going to be different.
Yeah, the internet, when I first started getting into the internet in 1995, 96, it was hard to get places and do things, and it took a number of years for standards to fall in place. And I still don't see Gala Games or any other online play to earn game passing the grandma test, where your grandma could just get on and play and earn money and cash out. Gala's getting close though, because now they don't have to lead you through all these you know code words and these private keys and stuff just to set up your wallet. You can go on and play to some degree, but you still have to fund the account. It would be nice to see some partnerships. I'd love to be able to have it where I could just yank money from Coinbase, or maybe associate my Coinbase account with my Gala Games account, and it would just pull money from my bank account. That would be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. And I know these are things they're thinking about. I mean, if we're thinking about it, they're thinking about it. Do you remember the first GalaCon when it was online and all recorded? If you remember Nina, the user experience lady, I mean, she was talking about looking at like, some form of like PayPal integration, just something. Something has to be there. I mean, they're gonna need something, if they want to pull off what they aim to do. There's gonna need to be a bridge between Web 2 and Web 3, and I think they've kind of created that bridge a little bit, or the beginnings of that bridge with, I mean, Gala Games isn't a traditional Web3 site. You don't connect in with MetaMask. It's login, username, account, and they've kind of like opened it up like halfway Web3, where you can export your keys, retain ownership of your assets. So, I mean, that's a good thing. Imagine if Gala Games was like full Web3 and they were trying to bridge the gap and onboard people, it'd be a total roadblock, And who knows what else they're thinking of that we haven't heard. It's tough, man. It's tough, but
well, there's securities laws too. I think that they're probably deliberately holding some things back because the SEC is really dragging its feet on just dealing with crypto, or the U.S. government is dragging its feet. I know Biden has just telegraphed that he's going to do an executive order this month or soon on crypto. And before he was saying, this is a matter of national security, yada, yada, yada. So people are getting worried. Now they're kind of backing off and saying, oh, well, we're just going to have people study crypto. So, okay, great. Now we got another couple years of not very much clarity, and so I can see that really delaying some of the good fun things that Gala Games would be doing.
So when it comes to gaming platforms, is Gala the only gaming platform you're on, Gemini?
Yeah, it's it's really all that I'm doing right now. To be honest, like, I was never a big gamer. Like, when Nintendo first came out, I remember like I got it for Christmas and I played, and then I was never really big into gaming, but with I understood how big gaming was, and I understood what this could be, and I understood also how, crypto and, retaining ownership of your assets played into the whole fundamental problem of traditional gaming. And, so I love spider tanks, man. Like I just never had really the opportunity to play. To be honest, man, I was always like, just a few years ago, I was just working 9 to 5. It like wasn't my thing, but now here I am playing Townstar, playing spider tanks, and what's cool is I get to connect with my kids like on their level now too. Talk about games, talk about the things they love, kind of get them involved with like the way the industry is changing right now.
Yeah, that's been a good lesson for my kids, especially Townstar, because so my son plays games a lot, and he saw Townstar and he's like, oh, that's pretty easy. Yeah, whatever. I could master it. I could make a lot of money, and then it kicked his butt. And it's kind of funny because Townstar is a lot more complicated than you think.
It sure is. It is. It's deceiving.
And it teaches real world skills too. It's like, okay, well, now you need to make so much money a day because I would like to thank Gala Games and that they pay my children's allowances now. Like, well, if you want this thing, you need to work it off in Townstar. Obviously, they do their other chores too, but this gives them a way to earn money, and it's a way to see it. This is how real life works. And then when things get unbalanced in the game, that's a good analog to life. And any game is going to have this. I'm really excited for Echoes of Empire to come out soon. And I know it's going to be somewhat like a Civilization clone. That's going to be the same thing. There's going to be economics in the game. And what I find most interesting about Townstar and these other games coming out is not only is there the economics that you play in the game, but the economics of the coin and how you get rewarded mirror that of the games. And so when people start asking on the Discord, like, well, do you think you're going to do this? Do you think they're going to do this? Or do you think they're going to do that? And I'm like, that's not going to work for an economic model. No, they're not just going to just throw money out to people. There's got to be, you got to put the money out there. You got to make things for them to buy. You got to have sinks for the money and so on. And I like having those conversations on the Discord because it gets people more aware of how things work. And you can apply these things to your real life. If you get good in Townstar, you're understanding how things are interrelating. That means you can do it with your financial life, with working with, if you ran a store, that kind of thing.
Legit. I think I can. I think I know enough right now to start my own farming town in real life.
It's just the people. Actually, so the hard thing about doing it for real is not the economics. It's the fucking people. People are pain in the ass. Other people always want something different, or they believe that something should be different. A number of years ago, I became a manager of a programming department. And the first thing I noticed is that when you're managing, everybody tells you what to do. It's not like they're all saying, tell me what to do, tell me what to do. Everybody comes up to me and they say, well, I need this. I go, okay, well, we'll get that to you. And then somebody else says, I need this. And I say, well, I'm going to go take care of this other thing. And then they go, no, I need it before you do that other guy. And then as soon as you get that, you realize, okay, that's what a manager's for. It's prioritizing. And really, in Townstar, a lot of it is that. And I know that's going to happen with Echoes of Empire.
Well, to kind of dovetail into that as well, I'm going to steal somebody else's thunder, and I can't find it in the Discord right now. But someone put out a simple 2-sentence explanation that hit me hard, and it got me thinking in a different way. And what they said essentially was, you have to think of play to earn differently. Play to earn is to earn in-game assets to spend in-game. Play to earn is not necessarily play to put money in your bank account. And when I thought about that, I said, well, that goes back to that whole decentralization discussion. Play to earn means different things to different people. Some people think of it as they want to turn that into USDC and throw it in their bank account and pay bills with it. But for the true gamers, which is Gala Games' focus, it's to use in game to make yourself better at the game. So maybe that can resonate with some more people when they think about how they approach play to earn as well.
Well, then they think everything's too expensive with real money. I mean, if you're going to earn things for real games, who in their right mind would pay $10,000 to play a game?
Yeah,
But
I think
it's
tough.
tokens, it's casino chips, you know?
I like your point, and I get that. But I think what people should realize is like we're really just looking at this as we have one game out, and like Townstar is not just a game. You know, it's I mean, basically you're playing to earn. You know, right now it's you know, because it blows up every month and because there's a weekly, and you can't just like perpetuate this thing and like really just try to like max out your town. It's like I think my point is here, it's like what we're going to see in the future is, I hope, is more of like a play and earn. Like you can just play, you can have fun, you can have a great social experience with your friends, and like there's this whole other earning thing that like your time now is valuable. Like the more time you spend in the game, you know, you could have potential to earn, you know, which will help you kind of like compound that. I just think we're not like really seeing that with Townstar right now, because your time spent in the game isn't monetized for your benefit. It's
Well,
really like,
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
My understanding, so I got into this whole play to earn thing with Mirandus. That's how I got into it in August, September of 2020, right when Mirandus was announced. And what I really glommed onto was somebody was saying, "Hey, you know all those those NPC people in the games, like the storekeepers and you know where all those houses that you see in the game? Yeah, those are going to be real people now." And I thought, hey, you know, this is cool. I like to play the game. So you're going to have people, you have people playing the game normally, but now you're not going to be interacting with stupid NPCs anymore. You're going to be interacting with a person who's there for a reason. And those NPCs, you know, those shopkeepers, they're not going to have any kind of real motivation unless there is some sort of real money attached to it. And so I think you're gonna see people get into the game just to be a shopkeeper, which is actually why I bought land and some shops. I want to be a shopkeeper. I want to sell to people, and so you're gonna have people just playing the game coming to me, and then you're gonna have people that may be wanting to grind. Most players, isn't it like 90% of players are going to be grinding? You know, people are saying, well, all these people have bought up all the land. No, that's actually not the purpose of Mirandus anyway. Is not to have the land. The purpose is to play the game, is to go kill the big bad Minotaur in the Minotaur cave and collect his loot and get the sword and fight off monsters. If you'd like to trade all those up to make an armory shop, great. But that's not why most people are there. And I think that's what people are missing, is some of these games are going to be really complicated, and all this land that's for sale right now, that's more for funding the game. That's why it's there.
Well, I'm not sure completely. people see what people make. All right. So we have the blockchain, people can see it. They go to these sales, they see, you know, certain people going in and just dropping like 50 ETH like it's pocket change. So they're or subconsciously being trained when they see this, because there is no game yet. All they know is, I've got to buy everything I can get my hands on. That's the purpose of this. And
Well, that doesn't
that
seem
is
very
a
game.
drawback.
That doesn't seem like a game. That seems like an investor gold rush.
Well, and that's what I mean. But it's just the perception. Again, what they see, because there is no game to go play right now.
That is a good point.
Yeah, it's true. You really kind of have to have an understanding of, Miranda specifically, like what this would look like. You get a lot of people saying like, oh, Miranda's is for rich people or only for people who have money, but it's just like real life, man. Like, you're 18 years old, you get kicked out of your parents' place, and it's like, what do? You get a job and rent an apartment. Like, not everybody starts off in a mansion, everybody has a place in the economy.
Well,
Whether it's
a gamer would say something like, "Look, buddy, I can't do that, and that's why I go to games so that I can be the rich person." And in Mirandus, I've seen people say exactly that. In Mirandus, if I'm going to go in there, I'm going to start out as a peasant, and that's going to suck because the other games I can be a rich mansion owner pretty quick.
Depends on which game. We haven't had a lot of luck in the other ecosystems other than Gala at this point.
Yeah. A couple weeks ago, I did what do you call it? Went into Star Atlas and decided to buy a ship and just try it out. And by the time I got done with equipping the ship, buying the ship, equipping the ship, and staking the ship, I think I was going to wind up with a few pennies, or not pennies, a few dollars at the end of the month. And that was a big turnoff, actually. Well, and they're still building up their game. I mean, staking your ship is all you can do. When you play the game, I'm sure it'll be a lot more fun. But the whole point is, if I'm going to make $3 a month or $5 a month, that's going to make me go choose another game like Townstar, where I can put in a similar amount of money and get more money in Towncoin back. That's going to affect things.
I think people don't realize that. And that's kind of what I was hoping that they would open their eyes to when we talked about it originally. Is I think we calculated that night when you bought it, it was after re-equipping and everything else, it was like $16 a month. Okay. And that was a fairly significant investment that you made over there. And you can, even with Towncoin in the crapper where it is now, you're still going to make more on the Townstar platform than that platform
with a similar amount of money.
Right. And so that you guys got to explore. Those who are listening, go out and explore and sink some money into these other games and compare that return to even the crappiest days on Townstar, and you'll see that you're still probably going to end up a little further ahead
with Townstar.
Even though, at least from our experiences, I can't say that for every game, for every person. I'm sure someone will pop in a chat and be like, hey, there's so and so. But as far as we've experienced so far, and I think that when you put all that together and look objectively, it's not as bad as you think here at this point.
All right. Do we have any? We looks like we have a number of questions here. Is there any that we've kind of singled out that we might want to answer?
Yeah, there was 2 or 3 that I was watching when you guys were chatting a little bit earlier, and this one is kind of geared towards Gemini because he has such a broad spectrum of NFTs and expertise on what this stuff is going to do. The big buzzword lately is utility. All right. Even these orbs they just sold, they say, oh, well, we're going to have a utility. And of course, I don't even know if they
Nobody knows what they are, but they have utility, or they will. We promise.
Yeah. All right. So what do you think, Gemini? What are some of the utilities that you would like to see Gala Games implement for some of these NFTs and in-game experiences?
Well, first of all, if we're talking about like the orb specifically, like, man, that thing is cool AF. Like, the reason why I bought them is just because I love that BT is just kind of like making this really unique thing that it just gets better with time. Goes from 2K to 16K res over like, what was it, 6 years or something like that. I'm definitely going to be meditating with mine. But I mean, I guess maybe a lot of people thought, you know, it was going to like produce town or produce some type of like monetary value in the game. But I mean, the way I understood it is like, you know, these things are going to introduce more of a new experience in game, you know, or be it like different shades of color, different music, and who knows? Like that's really what Gala Games is trying to do with the music and the gaming. They're trying to like bridge the two. You know, they're kind of intertwined a lot. There's music in games. There's colors in games. So I guess it's what would I like to see it do?
Yeah, like if you could be like benefactor for a month and just kind of do whatever the hell you wanted to do, what would you try and implement in the time that you were sitting in that big chair?
Hmm, that's a tough question. I've never really thought about that. You know.
I promised you I'd ask the tough questions.
Yeah. So let me ask you a question back. Are we just talking
Okay.
about like the orb, or are we talking
No,
about
you
like?
can like anything, because benefactor kind of runs the whole show. I'm sure you've thought, boy, I wish we'd have this in Town Star, or I bet we wish we could do this, that, or the other. What would you do if you were benefactor for a month?
Well, I would I would open up the market board, man, first thing, and then I think first things first, and this is totally skirting your question. Like they got to fix it. They got to fix it, and then once it's functional and working, I mean the possibilities are endless. What they could do with NFTs in game and across games, you know. I don't know, man. Like, wouldn't it be cool if like the orb was like it just like in your game now, instead of looking at like clouds go by, you could kind of see like this orb as like the sun and you know, stars in the background, and like having its own, I don't know, kind of celestial cycles that like had an effect on like water and, you know, people's attitudes in the game, you know, like
That would be interesting.
when the
That's
dudes
almost
aren't getting paid, it's like they all go home. But like, what if there's a full moon? They all start acting a little crazy, maybe, or I don't know.
That
They all
would be
that's
cool.
like game behavior and theme. That would be kind of cool.
yeah. I
That would
mean,
take some balancing.
oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, and or maybe if you get a crazy orb that just like messes with people, you can fly it over your competitor town next door and like mess up his stuff. You know, who knows? I feel like there's so much.
That's actually reminding me of Magic the Gathering. When you play Magic games, you know you do something, but every card is a rule that alters the game. And so, you know, somebody might throw out a big badass creature that can kick your ass, and then the other guy throws down a card and turns it into a rabbit. You know, so like, well, you now have a big giant rabbit that can only do 1 damage, and then of course they throw down another rule, and you throw down another rule. That's what that sounds like. And that would be really cool.
Yeah, I think if they create things, as long as there's like a counter for it, you know what I mean? Like that would kind of be the balance, the yin and the yang of the game.
So Cell, being sarcastic as always, he made a statement, but I'm going to turn it into a question. He was saying, I love they're already releasing another Vox, and we still have zero utility for the Miranda's Vox, right? So here's another real tough question. And of course, it's just opinions. Faz, I'm sure you'll have an opinion, but Gemini, I'd love to hear yours. When they say things along the lines of these orbs and the Vox and everything, and Bitbender gets on his AMA and he goes, ho ho ho, there's gonna be utility, all right. Yeah, well, we'll tell you what, and it's gonna be awesome. Do you think that they know what that is or have any clue, or they're gonna wait until the community starts talking and go, hey, that's a really good idea, maybe we should do that? Do you think it's pre-planned, or do you think they're just freaking winging it?
I think they have like an idea of what they're gonna do, but I think as time goes on, they maybe some other ideas come. I mean, legit, the possibilities with this stuff is limited to the creativity of somebody's idea. That's it. Like, that's the only thing that's stopping them from doing anything, and yeah, I think that answers the question, right? No, you phrased that
Yeah,
question in a different way.
Yeah, so sometimes I wonder if they even know what the utility is going to be when they release this stuff. They're just like, here, let's throw this out there. We know that we can make utility for a Voxer. We know we can make a utility for this orb, but let's just get it out there right now and then we'll worry about the utility later. Or do you think they have these meetings and they go, we want to be able to do this and then create the NFT based on that? Which side do you think it is? And Faz, I'd love to hear your thought, because my thoughts are they're throwing the stuff out there and worrying about the utility later.
Well, I think as far as Vox is concerned, like, even from its inception, the primary utility was going to be, staking Gala to earn Vox coin. And so I think the afterthoughts was like, well, you know what, like, let's put them in Townstar, or let's put them in games to create like other type of utility. Gala doesn't promise much. They will never promise like profit returns. They will never promise this or that, but like, one thing that they have promised and they said they would work their hardest to is to creating as much utility for their NFTs as possible for their community. That's the only guarantee. That's the only promise they will do.
Well, I can add something to here. So I think when they come up with something, basically, here's what I think exactly what Gala does. I think that Eric Schreiermeyer is going out and making deals with people, and he's trying to build a bunch of development houses to make games, and then and each development house has a thing or two that he's really interested in. And so I think they have a use case or two for just about everything they put in a game. But then you've got to remember, so when they put it out, then there's a balance. You've got to balance things. And then what's worse is the more things that are out, especially if you have multiple games interacting with each other, the permutations of these things get Byzantine. And it takes a while to add new things. If you're going to add, a dragon to Townstar, and in their case, they if you collect 10 cards with 10 dragon cards, you can get a dragon. How can you put that thing in there without screwing up the balance of everything else? Yeah, you can make it so that whoever has the dragon can rule over everybody and do everything, but then that's really out of balance. You've got to make, and I'm going to go back to Magic the Gathering again. When you're playing Magic the Gathering with people, you build your own decks. It is very possible to build. It's very easy to build unbalanced decks, and it's very easy to play against people with unbalanced decks. If your opponent has an unbalanced deck, they'll either cream you with it or they'll get creamed themselves. And what I think Gala Games is really looking to do is, if they put stuff in there, they want to make it so that it can work with anything to come forward. And they're going to be, over time, they're going to be readjusting the balance. They're going to be telling you at some point, well, okay, the dragon's coming in. The dragon, you won't have to pay gas to do deliveries. And then later they'll be like, okay, that's not working as well as we thought. We think it's going to give you a little bit of town coin now, or something like that, based upon how we've seen things work and so on.
Okay. That's an interesting take from both of you. Coming up on the next European Galaverse, right? So Faz explained to me, I was like, wow, they're going to do these like every 6 months. And he was explaining, oh, well, they're probably just going to go around the world and hit all the major areas and everything else. I said, oh, okay, now I get it. That's kind of cool. Gemini, are you going to be attending all the Galaverses?
Yeah, I'll be at the European one. I'll probably be at the US one too.
What do you What do you like the best about those?
Well, I don't know. I've only been to one. I don't know. My mind was blown. It was really for me the first time to put faces to names, to kind of see, the community, and to kind of see what Gala was presenting. I really went into it with no expectations, but I think the coolest part was just like, wow, like, these like AAA game partnerships, and like, just meeting the people was huge, because I've been looking at the screen on Discord for what, 2 years, and it's like finally something like kind of like tangible, real life. I'm like, wow, this is real, man. Not that I didn't think it was, but it's like, it really just I'm like, this is cool. It's cool to be a part of, especially since coming from the early days when it was like nothing and nobody, to what it is now. Like, people are excited, man.
I know it's still, I'm going to repeat this again. I know it's been said multiple times already, but this is just starting out, and it's nice to see that Gala is doing these kind of conferences and stuff like that. I'm certainly planning to go to some of the ones in the future. I now feel bad that I didn't go to the one that they recently had in December. Everybody got this cool looking coin I just saw because it's on John's Twitter account. I've been collecting those coins actually. I like those kind of things. Um, did they give you a lot of goodies with that? I know they gave you some NFTs and stuff.
Yeah, they gave us tons of goodies. I had to legit buy a second carry-on to take all the stuff home with me. I couldn't fit it in. So hey, if anybody here plans on going to Galaverse, either pack light or plan on buying a second carry-on.
Yeah, I know they gave like a cloak out. That the coin was something I hadn't seen before. People had gotten a ton of NFTs, and
Yeah, there was NFTs, which, the value far exceeded the cost of the ticket, and then like the cloak, the coin. We got like a goodie bag, mug, shirt, thermos, pen, hat, winter hat, and regular baseball hat, and then like each, like Echoes of Empire gave you a little bag with like stickers, and like, the queen in like the one of the rooms from it wasn't Miranda's, it was Dungeons and Dragons. They had like a Dungeons and Dragons room, and the queen was like handing out dice to the peasants. So I got like a cool, just like tons of little things that added up to be like a whole carry-on worth. Posters.
Was the D&D, was that so that's a little confusion I had. So I see that they had a D&D room, and they mentioned D&D on one of their logos. Is that a game that they're doing, or are they associated with D&D at all, or is that just something they were having fun with?
No, I don't know. To be honest, man, I didn't even make it into that room. Like, this is how like packed with stuff to do this place was. Like, you just didn't have time to do anything. You didn't have time to relax. You were being pulled in all directions at once. But I'm not sure. I didn't ask them, and I don't know.
Well, you know that Galaverse makes me the way that you've been describing it makes me wonder about something that Benefactor said. He had mentioned at some point that he wanted to put a lot of money into music, movies, and theme parks. And it seems like that what you guys went to is kind of like a theme park in a way.
Kinda. I mean, it could be considered like the inception of a theme park, like the beginning of what one could look like.
A game theme park. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we are hitting an hour. I try not to make these too long, and I don't want to wear out the interviewees. So I do want to say thank you very much, John, for talking to us. People have been very interested, in just knowing more about you. You're kind of an ever present but mysterious figure, and I'm glad to be talking to you this time. And Gemini has a guild. If you want to get more involved in Mirandis or EOE or Townstar or any of these things, he has a guild for each one of those. And he has a Discord. Is there a link to your Discord on your Twitter?
No, there isn't actually. You can go over to the Gala Games guilds and just kind of scroll up till you find it. Gemini
Like,
stars.
I think I'll go grab an invite and put it on this video in the comments below. So I encourage people to go to Gemini's Discord and learn a lot. He has a lot of stuff going on there. And anything else, guys, before we wrap this up?
Yeah, just with the guild after the last little exchanges, Faz poking fun at Gemini and back and forth. It was all in good fun, guys. We had some people over in CryptoFaz Discord that were Gemini. You will love it. They were standing up for you and hollering
Really?
at Faz and everything else. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's all in good fun. It's
I
just
picked
a
on the
little
wrong
bit of,
people.
yeah. So it's not meant to be like this mean thing. It's friendly competition, but it's just throwing a bucket of shit once in a while to rile people up and get them excited.
Well, what I was trying to do is I was trying to get some I was trying to get more attention on Echoes of Empire. And so I just wrote up this thing, like, because I saw Gemini had his thing, and there's like only his and then maybe a couple others, but he had a lot of people on his. And I'm like, well, they said something about world domination or universal domination on theirs, so we got to stand up and resist that. And so I thought, hey, we'll get some people joining, and more people get into EOE. And I started getting private chats from people like, "What are you doing, dude?" I'm like, guys, I'm just having fun here. So
one of the mods threw you out, didn't they?
Well, they do have a private planning room, which I was told I wasn't allowed to be in. It didn't help that I advertised in their private room like that.
Shameless.
I'm pretty. I believe in white hat hackers, and hey, if I was able to get in that room, then you must have had to lock it down. So
We did. You did. You set the bar, so we locked it down.
So it was all in good fun.
If you see someone join that says their name is not Faz, I'd perk the eyelashes a little bit there.
Well, Titan, why don't you go join their group, and you could tell me what goes on in there?
Oh, see, now you're gonna get me thrown out.
Well, darn. Oh, okay. So anyway, he has a guild. He has a lot of stuff going on, and you've heard what he wants to do with his guild and so on. And I really respect that he wants to get people into the game. And I'm looking to do the same thing. So definitely join his guild. He'll have plenty of resources for just about every game out there: Spider Tank, EOE, Echoes of Empire. I think you have some Legends and some other Walking Dead as well. Is that right?
Yeah, we got everything, man. We got legendaries, ancients, just everything, So, you could be in one guild and they're only doing one game, and like, no problem. Come on over and hang with us. Like, no hard feelings, no nothing, It's open to all, I'm sure there's going to be a lot of cross guild, especially with Mirandus, like trading resources and stuff like that. We're all just one big Gala family, man. But one of the reasons why I wanted to create it, like I said, is just to create a place where like the people starting with not much could get a leg up in the game, And one thing I just want to touch on, it's like, you might not know me, you know me. I was here early, but like Faz said, we are still so very early in this. Like, we're right at the beginning. I was just before the beginning, but we're right now, right here in the beginning, and we're just getting started.
Yeah,
absolutely. Great. Patience is the key.
Patience, all right. Papa.
And on that note, I'm going to end it. Thank you very much.
Hey, aren't you guys supposed to do a giveaway or something?
Oh yeah.
We didn't. Yeah, well, not only that, but he's building for his own guild. He'll be getting off. He'll be in the Discord. He's like, dude, Faz won't even do the giveaway. Can you believe that? You need to join my guild.
Yeah, I know, right? See, he's starting that shit already. That's
like, hey, I'm giving away 2 nodes over it.
Yeah, right. You got to one up them. You got to give away 3.
That's right. I think you need to do that. No, I'm all for cooperation between the guilds. I think that Gemini's guild is probably going to be a good trading partner. I mean, we're going to need somebody to trade with that aren't dickheads. and I get a feeling that there's going to be a lot of competition. But these games don't have winners. These games are economy games. They're not going to. You can't win these games. So just I don't see it where somebody is going to really dominate over another player. Anyway, let me share my screen, and
Yes.
we can do.
So to catch
away.
people up, for those who might not have been here, last week we spoke with Forged in Crypto, and we had a fantastic talk. And Faz and Forged in Crypto were kind enough to donate a music node for 2 lucky winners. Now we got through the logistics on this and then realized these are non-transferable. But in good spirit and good faith, Faz and Forged in Crypto decided to put out the exact amount for a music node in Gala. So those of you who entered the contest to get this reward, thank you so much for your support. We loved seeing our name get out there a little bit, and hopefully that helps us reach more and more people. Do you have your screen up yet, Faz?
I do. I have my screen up. So I have.
Okay, but it's not showing up on YouTube. That's where I was asking.
Really?
Oh, really?
Wait a minute here. I can see it, but
it's not showing up on mine.
On YouTube.
I can record the.
Oh wait, I refreshed. There it is. I refreshed.
Okay.
Oh, so that's you. That's your fault.
Yeah,
okay.
that was on mine. Yeah.
Okay. So I have went to Twitter and I grabbed everybody who, if you look at the rules of our last thing, everybody who referenced Forged in Crypto and Faz Radio. And in fact, I even grabbed the people that retweeted, because I said, really just give us a shout out and tag these 2 people. So there weren't a ton of people. We didn't announce this outside of Faz Radio, because I just wanted to see who was listening to Faz Radio. So this isn't a lot of people. That's fine. So we have a number of people. I hope I got everybody. If I made a mistake, I'm sorry. But I believe I got everybody. So I'm going to. This is a random list picker online here. And basically all I need to do is hit this button right here. It's going to grab one person from this list, and I'm going to do it twice. If the same person comes up twice, I'm just going to throw them out. So they're going to be 2 different people. Actually, I think I'll grab their name out or something if it gets picked twice. If it gets picked the first time. So I'm going to run this now. And our first winner is Law Lun 3. Law Lun 3, you have until 11:59 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or Pacific whatever time, to get with me. So all you need to do is send a DM to Faz Radio on Twitter with the account that you tweeted with, and you will be we'll be able to get you set up. You just need to contact me by then, and I'll get an address to send the Gala to. So I'm giving away Gala for 1 music node, and Forged in Crypto is giving away for 1 music node. So I'm going to now select the next person. Let me take this guy out right there. And here we go again. Let's hit rerun. Allegrata. I hope that's how you say the name. Allegrata is our number 2. So same deal. Get with me. Send a DM to Faz Radio, and we'll get you hooked up by 12:59 p.m. tonight, Pacific Standard Time. If for some reason you guys don't make it by that time, then we will just do another drawing in our next Faz Radio for the with the remaining names. We won't do another. Well, maybe we will do another. I don't know. We'll give it away somehow in another Faz Radio if you don't make it by that time. So we'll definitely be giving it out. So we would like you to use that Gala for a music node. The whole purpose is to get more people to be having music nodes. One person with 1 million music nodes actually isn't the best circumstance, the best setup for these music nodes. So we want to spread this far and wide.
Congratulations to the winners. That was awesome, man.
Alla grata.
Hey, why don't we just do one more real quick?
One more?
I'll spring for it. Yeah.
All right. Or let me take this name out
Hey,
here.
John, that's awesome, man. Thanks.
Very much appreciate that.
Hell yeah.
That's really cool. All right. So now each time I've taken a name out, it's it increases your odds. So all right. Now here we go. 1, 2, and 3. John Dauber. I think I remember John Dauber as being one of the first people that tweeted our Forged in Crypto and Faz Radio. So John Dauber is number 3. This is very much appreciated, John. And I will when they DM me their information, I'll send you the wallet, their wallets that you can send some Gala to their wallet. It's $1,200 in Gala. So what I basically said is on the rules there is basically I'll just transfer $1,200 in Gala over to whoever won, and then they could buy a music node with that on their own. These music nodes are not transferable. You will not be able to sell them. That's why we couldn't actually give away the nodes themselves, or we would have. Okay, on that note, I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you very much again, and congratulations to the winners.
Awesome. Today was fantastic. Thank you guys for hanging out tonight.
All right.
Yeah, thanks for having me, and congrats again to the winners.